Hello and welcome to this Trades and Tutorials video. This is Jeff Bish, president of MarketGauge.com, and I've got a really quick video for you today. I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss this opportunity because every time the market pulls back, there's a group of stocks that create explosive trades as soon as the market stabilizes or pops, as you can see on my screen here. I'm doing this at a time when the market's just bounced off the 200-day moving average, but we'll get to that in a second. You see, this group of stocks always reacts in a much bigger way to the upside when the general market pulls back and then starts to recover. So as you can imagine, this group of stocks is perfect if you want that quick hit trade. It's perfect if you want to get into an options trades. In fact, the stocks I'm going to show you, I'm in options trades, just doubled this week. And it's perfect for stocks or ETFs that you want to get into at the right time for longer term swing trades. Because as you're going to see, these stocks, while the market has bounced off a 200-day moving average, which is this green line here in the S&P 500, these stocks have shot out to new highs. And if you get into the right ones with the right setups or patterns or bigger patterns, they break out to new highs and then they just don't come back. Now, what I'm going to show you is we've found a way to identify these stocks with a really simple indicator. So you can actually find them in all market conditions. But on the pullbacks, it's particularly powerful and easy to find. And so if this market continues higher, there'll be plenty of opportunities yet to come. But if the market pulls back, you're going to see the same pattern that I'm about to show you repeat again. So I didn't want you to miss it. It will be a quick video, and I will give you a way to see a much longer video if you want to get more details. So let's jump right into it. First, as I've already started to say, just to lay the groundwork for what the market's been doing here, because this video is going to be relevant for years. So right now, we can see that the market had a huge run for 2019, and then it started to pull back in May. And pulled back, we're looking at the SPYs, down to under the 200-day moving average. Same basic story over here in the Qs, but a much different story in the IWMs. So IWMs never really made a significant new 2019 high in May. And they pulled back under their 50, under their 200, broke down some significant swing lows. So the IWMs are really weak here, and this is a reason to suspect that we may get further moves to the downside, or at least another test down to the 200-day moving average. All right, so regardless of what happens, as I just said, what I'm about to show you will apply. So with that in mind, let's see what happened when we look at these particular stocks. So the stocks that I'm referring to are leading stocks. Leading stocks are stocks that have a sense of momentum and a sense of trend that really goes above and beyond the markets. And what that means is that when the market goes up, they tend to go up faster. But more importantly, what it means is when the market pulls back, if it's the right leading stock, they will pull back with the market, some of them. And when they do, it's a huge opportunity as soon as they start to turn higher. It's a huge opportunity to turn higher because they're actually stronger than the market. So the market's pulled them back. So it's just a rest for them. But as soon as these stocks get the sense that the decline in the market is over, they are off to the races. Now, it's just not that easy to identify these leading stocks because they're not always just making new highs. Now, in this case, we're looking at Mastercard. And I'm pulling up Mastercard because this is one that was just really easy because this indicator down here at the bottom is our triple play leadership price leadership indicator, and I'm not going to go into all the details. If you want more details, I'll give you a link below this video where you can learn more. But the essence of it is, and you could just start using it if all you knew was this, is the blue line here is a short-term measure of leadership. The red line is an intermediate-term measure of leadership, and the black line is a longer-term measure of leadership. So if you read these just like you would read a 50 or 200-day moving average, the patterns work the same way. Basically, you want to see the blue line over the red line. If you really want a strong leadership trend, then you want the red line over the black line too. So look at Mastercard. All I have to do is pull up this chart, and I can instantly see that, yeah, Mastercard's in a nice trend, but more than that, Mastercard has been in a leadership role throughout this whole trend. So personally, I've been looking and waiting for an opportunity to get into Mastercard for a while, because I could see if this thing pulled back, if the market pulled back and Mastercard pulled back, it would be an opportunity, right? So this big down day here was really precipitated or caused by news that government was going to start pushing into regulating large tech companies. So the big tech companies, Google, Amazon, got smashed. But so did Mastercard, and so did a lot of other big tech companies that really didn't deserve it, right? So Mastercard came right down to its 50-day moving average, came right down to this support, and the leadership line couldn't have looked better. So as soon as this thing started to turn up, you could have been a buyer with a stop under here. And bigger picture, which was what I was saying earlier, now the market's rallied a little bit, but NASDAQ has now exploded to new highs after consolidating for a month. This is a perfect setup for a really strong stock to go on to make a really substantial move, even if the market just gets stuck in a range. And if the market turns out to have bottomed and move higher, you can be sure that this thing is going to go on to make big moves. Now, how would you play this going forward? I wouldn't be a buyer in here, but if it pulls back again into this area, I may not get back to the 50-day moving average and the leadership line is still good, then that's going to be the opportunity. So this one is a great one to have on your radar. Now, I'm not going to go into this, but we also have a volume indicator that we use for confirmation. And you can see the volume indicator, which we use the same exact way, blue over red, is positive too. So that's pretty straightforward, right? And so this is why when the market starts to pull back, I get excited. So here's another one that was just a really good example. Now, this one isn't the same as Mastercard in being as strong leading up to it, but when the market was getting hit in May, right, Ball actually started higher. It had a really good run from a leadership perspective. You can see it turned higher, demonstrated good leadership, and then started to pull back. So as it's pulling back, I'm watching the leadership line, lands right on the 50-day moving average, same thing. So in here, I could see strong leadership holding the 50 while the market's still slipping under the 200. I knew exactly where I wanted to be. This is the one I wanted to focus on as soon as it moves higher. Now, one of the things I like to look at is this 10-day moving average, and I don't have time to go into that, but if you use that as a trigger, you can see explosive. So here's an example of one where the options here doubled this week. And more than the market, this thing's out to new highs, right? Doesn't have any resistance where the market has tons of resistance. So these leaders, it's just what they do. You just have to be able to identify them. And our triple play leadership line makes it really easy. Blue over red, you're in the right place. Now here's a completely different one, and I'm going to end with this one. So ICE, as the market was selling off, you could see the leadership line was really good, right? It was having trouble in here, but then the leadership line turned up, the stock turned up, starts to consolidate in here. And as the market was getting weak, ICE was holding up, the leadership line was strong. So this is when I actually got in before the market bottomed on this breakout here. I was pretty sure it was going to go because it had a great leadership line. But ICE broke out, the market broke down. And that pulled it back into support, but it started moving up even before the market started moving up. But these are the types of breakouts that you can get into even when the market is shaky. Now, this may not look all that great in terms of a breakout here, even though it's a really nice breakout. But the real power in here, and the reason I was interested in it, is because ICE has been consolidating here for a year and a half. And this was the opportunity to get into that breakout before it shows up in the new high list early. So again, kind of like Mastercard, it's been consolidating for a while. And if the market heads higher or this really has something going, it's got huge consolidation to drive it higher. All right, so I could get in 3 scenarios. ICE, I was able to get into a new high breakout early. Ball, I just happened to find a really good correction down to the 50-day moving average on a stock that now blows out to new highs. Mastercard can just sit and watch it and wait for that pullback to a good level of support, because I know that when it happens, that's the one I want to be in. All right, so leaders, if you can identify these leaders, and the market gauge triple play, not only does it make it really easy to do it in terms of the price action, but what I didn't get into is the volume action. All right, so keep an eye on these leaders. They are the easiest group of stocks to find yourself in massive up moves that just keep going. And on pullbacks and rocky times in the market like right now, they're absolutely the place to focus on. So I hope that helps. If you want more information about triple play and leaders, I'll throw a link at the in the article that goes along with this video. And with that, wish you the best in the markets.